My dear friends, my name is Chiara Morettini and I attended a master's degree course in specialized translation at the SSML Gregorio VII University in Rome. The title of my dissertation is Everything Calls for Salvation, Translation Proposal, Psycholinguistic Analysis, Translation Commentary, and Reflection on the Film Adaptation and Audiovisual Translation of Daniele Mencarelli's novel. This dissertation explored the practices of literary translation, film adaptation, and audiovisual translation using the novel Everything Calls for Salvation by the writer Daniele Mencarelli to present a practical example of these three creative processes. The main objective is to propose my personal translation, which, for copyright reasons, is limited to the opening and closing chapters, namely the first and the seventh, guiding through each step the entire process. For this reason, it starts with the presentation and acquaintance with the author and the novel, and then it moves on to the screening and analysis of the source text and all its components, the paratextual ones, such as the cover, the elements that define a narrative text more in general, such as space, time, characters, purpose, ideal reader, and the elements more specifically related to this particular novel, including all the technical terms from the medical and legal fields, the cultural, religious, and historical references, the puns peculiar to each culture, which require careful research and sometimes a stronger adaptation or even an almost total distortion and transformation. In this regard, the first three chapters focus respectively on the initial analysis, the translation proposal, and the translation commentary. In the latter, for each doubt that arose during the first phase, the final solution for the rendering is provided. Each translational choice, whether related to technical terms, cultural elements, or those diatopically, diastratically, and diachronically characterized, is justified through the results of an underlying technical, linguistic, social, and cultural research. The study then continues with an all-round analysis of the work in all its forms, so the original novel, the translated novel, the adaptation into a television series, and the translated, subtitled, and dubbed versions of the TV series. This is the reason why the Chapter 4 addresses the process of film adaptation, starting from its history and technical and technological development, delving into the various study approaches that professionals have developed over time, and outlining the fundamental steps involved, such as the development of the script, the choice of cast and directors, the recording and editing, the diffusion and the reception. The chapter, in the end, explores the specifics through the practical example of the television series based on the mentioned novel, which allowed me to examine the changes this entails, the modifications, additions, or deletions due to the transition from one medium to another. Finally, in the fifth chapter, I delved into the process of audiovisual translation, exploring various modes such as fan dubs, fan subs, revoicing or voiceover, subtitling, and dubbing. The exploration begins with historical and theoretical insights, followed by a more direct and personal analysis of the application of these techniques on the considered product. The study progresses from intralinguistic translation from Italian to Italian through subtitles to dubbing and subtitling in American English and Latin American Spanish. This was a detailed analysis in which I examined every aspect of the original story and the differences implied by the change in the medium of transmission. It was interesting to observe how the sensitivity required to handle certain topics varies across cultures, how a different legislative framework poses a significant obstacle, how a work is modified before transitioning to the screen, often driven by market demands or the specific needs of different media. Additionally, it highlighted how distinct pronunciation, roots, or structures could pose new challenges for the translator, especially for the audiovisual translator, also with regard to the synchronization between pronounced expressions and the actor's lead movements. I'd like to conclude by saying that, at the end of my research, I can say that all these three processes are as complex as they are rewarding, that the work of a translator or of an adapter, often criticized for not being faithful to the original work or accused to steal originality, contrary to the beliefs of those who perceive these processes as simple due to the existence of a pre-existing basis to work upon, are in reality intricate. They require extensive research, creativity, curiosity, and infinitive passion, which is why they have a dignity equal to any other form of artistic creation.